Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk to you guys about primitive data types. They are pretty much the most basic data types used in programming. For instance, Java, and there are 8 primitive data types. So it can fall into these categories. There are numerical ones. There's both of these are numerical ones. Both of these side is numerical. There can be integers or whole numbers or decimal numbers or numbers with decimals. Then there's Boolean or conditional ones, and there's characters. So for the integer numerical ones, there's byte, short, int for integers, long. There's for the decimals, we have float and double. For booleans is boolean, and for characters, char or characters. Okay, so I'll tell you what the purposes are for each of the data types, for each of the primitive data types. So byte is pretty much a saving space data type where it's only 1 byte or 8 bits. Okay, so you put values from negative 128 to positive 127. So it could be like 5 or 6 or -7. It's pretty much used for programs that wants to save memory and doesn't need to use int, which the regular most common integer is int, or data type is integers, and it uses 4 bytes. So why not use 1 byte if you're going to have the value of that's going to be between these two, this range right here. And then there's short, similar to the byte, except it's a larger value range, from -2 to the 15th power to +2 to the 15th power -1. So basically any values between these numbers right here can be used for short. And then the regular most common ones int, like I said earlier, it uses 4 bytes of memory. Could be between -2 to the 31st power to +2 to the 31st power -1. So the range of that value could be, the value will be between this range right here, um, to what billion to -2 billion roughly. And then the other data type for the integer category would be long, which is, obviously, as it states, long, meaning it's a larger value that you will use, and it can be 8 bytes for in size. So the value could be from -2 to the 63rd power to +2 to the 63rd power -1, or the range will be between these value after the calculations. Um, Now, in order to use decimals, obviously these right here you can only use whole numbers. For the floating points category, and you're using decimals, you'd have to use float, which is 4 bytes in size. It could be from 2 to the -149th power to 2 minus 2 to the -23rd times 2 to the 120. So basically right here, after you do the calculation, the range from here to here is what can be used for float. And this is used because it will show decimal points. So if you just use float and you put like a number, it'll be like 0.0 or 0.00. And then double that because you want a larger range, of value. You use double, which also is to show decimal points. Will be from this range right here, 2 to the -1074th power to 2 minus 2 to the -52 power 52nd power times 2 to the 1023rd power. This range right here, you use double. And then last but not least, you have Boolean. Now, Boolean is a conditional data type. It has 1 byte for its size. It's pretty much, if there's a condition that was met, it's either false or it's true. That's what that's used for. Here are examples, how to write it. So you have byte, the value equals 100. That works. Now, if this was byte value equals 200, it would not work because it's too large of a number to fit this data type. Now you have short value equals 123, and for that one, as you can see, you can put 200. If you were to put 200, this would work. And the most common ones, integers. So int value equals what is this? 123,543. You can have another value of int. Second value, here's the naming convention right here. You can have it to be negative. What is this? 9,876,345. Now, if you want a larger number, you can put long value equals, what is this? There's a nice way that people kind of use. They'll use like an underscore between every three numbers to kind of differentiate. This is like what, 1 billion, I think. So 1,234,567,891. If you put the underscore between every three parts, it's kind of like a comma. It'll make it easier for people to actually read. So that's just a side note for when you guys do programming and stuff like that. Now for floats, you can put float value equals 12.25. Here you go. You have the decimals showing. You have double value equals 12,345.234. Let me see, 234. Was it 10,000 hundredths place? Okay, hundredths. 234 hundredths. So it shows more numbers after decimal because you're using double. For Boolean, you got Boolean value equals true, or Boolean value can equal false. By the way, all these names right here, value, 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 it could be any name you want, pretty much almost any name, because there might be a class or something that's already using that name. So when you're programming, you can't use the same name twice. So, but pretty much whatever name you have here equals to whatever you're giving it the value of. And then character, char value equals x, so that x is the value for that, and then char value equals y. So this is pretty much what primitive data types are. These are these 8 data types here that you will be using to program. So that's pretty much it. So take care. Have a blessed day.